Welcome to Skate 2 for Beginners, also known as V2, One Skate and Double Dance. I'm Scott Dixon, and I'm going to teach you how to do Skate 2 in 3 simple stages. Part 1, breakdown of the basic movement. Part 2, beginner drills to get you started. Part 3, common errors to be aware of and how you can solve them with solution-based drills, progressing through easy, medium and hard. Skate 2 is comprised of 3 main elements: position, timing and movement. Feel free to pause the video if you need more time to read the captions. Position describes where our body is and our weight is over the ski. The timing of the poles in relation to the legs. And movement is which direction our body is going between start and end points. We're also going to be taking a look at the placement of the wheel and the angle of it in relation to the asphalt. I'm going to teach you how to stand on the apex of the wheel with ease with just a little bit of practice. Step 1. Step and clap. No roller skis. When you clap your hands, you must be on one foot, the other in the air. Don't move on until you've got that right. And remember, all of these drills you can start on the grass. Step 2. Box drill. Still no roller skis. Go up and down on one leg, across, up, down, across. Imagine you're drawing a square with your nose or ducking under a bar. And make sure you avoid bending from the knee to the hip and instead bend from your toe to your knee. Step and clap on roller skis. Now, you might want to start in grass, but notice it's harder to clap when your foot is up now that you've got roller skis on. So, make an extra effort to get all of your weight over onto the ski before you move on to the box drill, which is just the same as without the roller skis on. You're trying to draw a box with your nose. You will find this hard and it will almost be a little bit like a U shape, but as long as the effort is to go up and down on each ski, that is key. Step 5. Step and clap on the move. This one will take most people the longest to master. Don't move on until you can lift your leg fully when you clap your hands. And try and align your nose, knee and toe when your weight is over the lead ski. You can use poles if you want, and remember, get that other foot off the ground. Box drill on the move is quite tricky, so start static or on grass before you try and incorporate movement. And again, you're trying to dip under a bar or to draw a box with your nose. Of course, use your poles if you need some additional support at the high points. Stand up tall and tap with your poles is particularly good for the timing and body position. You have to stand up fully extended on each leg so that you lose balance a little bit and catch yourself with your poles just like they're stabilizers. And make it a special effort not to go down and across. Remember, you have to go down on the balanced leg, then across. And if you feel that that applies to you, just go back to doing the box drill, but with this exercise, and that will get your timing and movement right. Step 7, stand up tall and tap on the move. So this time you're incorporating the movement and still using your poles as stabilizers. I need to notice that as my poles come down, my foot is well and truly in the air. That means I'm 100% committed to the balanced ski, and this is essential for effective Skate 2. Step 8, stand up tall and fall onto your poles. Now you're standing so high on each balanced leg that you're absolutely losing your balance and falling to the outside, not the inside. The idea of this exercise is to encourage you to get all of the weight over the ski and know that your poles are there to catch you if you stumble. The more you practice this, the closer you're going to be able to get your legs together in Skate 2. Now let's take a look at some common Skate 2 problems and their respective solutions. First of all, people often ski with legs too wide. This is because it's quite frightening to commit your weight all to one ski. Some people can get the feet in, like this example, but then plant it too wide. And for some people, the only solution here is just improving balance, which takes time. Here, the timing is all over the place, and you're pulling as your foot comes down. Here's another variation of that. And here's probably the most common mistake, which just screams out beginner or not being taught the right drills, is straightening the arms out and overusing the triceps instead of the lats. Okay, let's take a look at the wheel. So here's the outside apex, the apex, and the inside of the apex where most beginners put their body weight almost all the time, unlike Emmanuel Bechis, as you can see in this quite incredible photo. Having identified the problems, let's take a look at some drills with 3 stages of progression to help you solve them. Okay, step 1, standing on one foot, and this is easy. You can do this on the grass to begin with. Now, all you're trying to do is stand on one foot, stay still, and use your poles to stabilise. Remember, it's always better to stumble or lean too far out than too far in. To incorporate a little bit more difficulty, start doing it on the move. Put 2 cones out and ski between them. Just stay on one foot and keep all your weight over it. And then finally, the hard version is scooter push zigzag. You're going from one side of the track to the other, all your body weight over the ski, and you're pushing just with your non-balanced leg, forcing you to get all your weight over that ski. Now, it's far favourable to fall on the outside than the inside. If you're falling on the inside, that means you're not going onto the outside apex of your wheel, which is absolutely necessary to get this exercise right. On the inside, you will just always have your legs too far apart. Arms. It's so easy to get the arms wrong, and it's not taught so much. So the first thing to do is just stand still and swing your arms back and forward so you get the swinging motion. What you're going to try and do eventually is put them out in front of you, bend to a 90-degree angle, and retain that angle while you swing back and forward, just like you can see here. Start by swinging straight, bend them, and then continue that same swinging motion, but now retaining the 90 degrees. Hands to hips, elbows out behind you. Now, avoid contracting the traps, which are the muscles at the top of your back, and instead really focus on lifting the elbows up to the sky behind you. And imagine you're pulling a rope. Now, putting the poles on a fence prevents you from dropping the hands lower and forces you to pull the elbows back, which leads you into the medium difficulty on this drill, which is to do single arm pull. All you're doing is stepping on your roller skis and dragging back with your elbows again, just like you're pulling a rope. Once you've done that, you can go into double poling. And the main objective here is to retain that 90-degree angle as best you can for the full motion, back to forward, only focusing on that, nothing else. Once you've managed to get the arms bent, you're going to fall onto your poles. And look, my arms actually bend more than 90 degrees while I support my body weight and I tense my core. And although they don't retain that angle all the way back, it's pretty close. That's the goal here. Once you've got the arms to a high standard, you want to incorporate that into the skate 2 motion. You're not going to get the balance and timing right straight away, but at least focus on the arms and isolate that so that you're not thinking about something else. It's just getting the elbows right. And one simple way of thinking about it is imagine you're standing in the queue at a supermarket, someone's getting too close, give them a jab with your elbow, that's the movement. Okay, bonus tip here, and also really crucial, is don't grip onto the poles. You got to let go of them loosely. I'm not throwing them all the way back, but have a look. My top fingers are still holding the poles, but my pinky is fully released. This is to fully use my back muscles whilst retaining connection with my poles on the tarmac. This is something you can practice just on the grass or just standing still, and is absolutely necessary for timing. Rising and falling, you're bobbing up and down on one ski. Simply stand on one foot, get the other leg up off the tarmac, and then just bob up and down, and as you come down, use your poles to stabilize. This means that you can lean really far forward and get a really exaggerated bob up and down. When you feel comfortable, start doing a couple before switching on to the other leg and do a couple on that leg. If you get really comfortable, as you can see here, I'm starting to incorporate a hop. Now, I am landing on my leg with my poles simultaneously, just so that I get the confidence and I build up that ability before moving on to the next stage. And remember, you can always step onto the grass to get a little bit more confidence before moving on to the tarmac. Medium, side to side, bob and hop. You can move side to side and then incorporate the little bob. Now, I'm exaggerating the bob quite a lot and I'm building up into a hop. So it's a gradual step-by-step process. Don't move on until you feel comfortable, until eventually you can hop and land on that same leg and catch yourself also with your poles. Make sure your weight is fully over each ski and that your laces are tightened as tight as possible before you start. Bob and hop on the move. Now the lines are slightly blurred between this drill and the previous because you've got to start static and then you've got to gradually go into movement with a bob and then gradually go from that bob into a hop only once you become comfortable with each stage and not before, because although this is quite difficult, it's one of the most effective drills when done properly to learn the timing and the body position. Now before you go, I couldn't help but incorporate one more drill, which is one of my favourites. It might look really simple and a little bit silly, but if you practice it, you can get your legs underneath your body properly in Skate 2, which is essential. I'm going to be making a video specifically about the drill you can see here, which you can try and emulate without that video of course, and it's still going to be effective. But if you want to break down into the different stages and how we can incorporate that into sprinting motion, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that video. In terms of using this video to full effect, I suggest taking it with you on training sessions so you can watch each exercise step by step and then implement them, move on to the next one only when you're ready. Otherwise, the description below has the full session written out. Please comment if you have any comments. Thank you for your time and have a great day.